In a room stripped of power colors, Torl found Seala beaten, bound to a machine that could drain a witch to power a pirate ship. The captain thought Torl was only leverage. Seala knew better. If Torl revealed what he truly was, would either of them survive? Larrett was awake before the town timekeeper signaled morning. He checked on Alez and found that she was sleeping peacefully. Good, she needed the rest after the rush of the past 4 days. Today they would make contact with Jelra's friends. And what a contact! Larrett secretly wondered if Selina planned to play the part completely through. This could be very enjoyable. Very enjoyable indeed. But would it accomplish anything? Well, he could think of several things that he could say it would accomplish, but in reality, it probably would just make this exquisite individual feel unclean. Well, it was almost morning, he would know soon enough. If all went well, he and Alez would be able to get back to their journey, with plenty of credits to complete the trip, and set him up with some sort of a future. Larrett visited the refresh unit and got dressed at a leisurely pace. Then he dialed up a full breakfast, and ate until he was fully satisfied. As he was disposing of the dishes, the entry unit announced the arrival of Selina, Living Furniture Class 1. The entry unit announced it in such mundane terms that Larrett could easily have thought that it was announcing someone else. He walked over to the entry and pressed the button. The door slid open to reveal Selina, the beautiful woman he'd seen yesterday, but today she was dressed as living furniture. She looked so elegant that the clothing did nothing to convince him that she was indeed of this class. "Hello, Selina. Won't you come in?" "Thank you, sir. Where do you wish me to go and how would you like me to dress and act?" she asked almost mechanically. "Let's just talk for a while. Have a seat," he pointed to an empty chair. "Have you eaten?" "Very well, sir. Yes, I have eaten, but I will eat again if that pleases you. What would you like to talk about?" "I was just trying to be polite." "I don't wish you to eat unless you wish to do so." He sat in the chair opposite hers. "As for the conversation, let's talk about you. Your past, your family, and your goals for the future. We can also talk about any other subject that you wish." "All right. I'm Selina, second born of Seala and Barrows. Barrows went to search for Argon on the out planets. When I was too young to remember, he never returned. Seala became living furniture to provide food and shelter for us. Seala worked her way up to class 4 before she died. My older brother's name is Eris. Eris is a class 2 credits clerk in the Immigration and Naturalization Division of the Starport. As is custom here, Eris inherited the rights, responsibilities, and debts of Barrows, and I inherited the same from Seala. I have worked as living furniture since my mother died 3 years past and was certified as a class 1 just 1 year past. If I perform well and receive good ratings, I may be certified as class 2 in just 10 months. My goals are simple. First, to repay the debts Seala left, then to find a man who will tolerate my past and possibly provide me with a permanent position. I am now 21 years of age. If I am fortunate and certify as scheduled, I will repay the debt by the time I reach the age of 29 years. Is this sufficient detail, or would you like me to expound on some particular area?" Larrett heard the words, but still was not sold on the story. This creature could not possibly be living furniture, certainly not a class 1. What now? If he pressed her, he might blow her cover. On the other hand, how could he let her know that he was anxious to move on and get information on how to proceed and where his credits were? This could get very tricky. With the type of monitoring that these facilities received, they would either have to perform some appropriate physical acts, or create a reason to leave the area to avoid suspicion. And Selina was apparently not going to help him create any reason to leave. "So, would you like me to get undressed now?" This question really threw him. Apparently, she did intend to go through with it. Well, it would not be unpleasant. And, the sooner it was done, the sooner they could leave the room, and go somewhere more private. "Not here. In my private sleep area," he pointed, "over there." But Selina was already headed in that direction. Once they were both inside, she removed her dress, and then closed the door. Quickly, she removed a cloaking device from her dress, and adjusted it while speaking of all the things she could do for him. Soon she set the device on the floor, and addressed him more directly. "I'm sorry for the delay," she whispered. "The vid units work only in the common areas in this facility. But in this room, only the audio works. Right now, the listeners are hearing exactly what they expect to hear. I am Freela, daughter of Jazula and Fanel, of Shannon 7. Selina and I have been friends for many years. She is now at my father's house on vacation. A friend asked me to help you get on your way." Now I must ask you to identify yourself. As she spoke, she produced a laser device from some unknown hiding place. Larrett believed that if his answer was not appropriate, she would leave a dead body in the room when she departed. I am Torl. Seala is with me in the other sleep space. Gelru arranged for us to come here, and instructed me to place the ad to which you responded. You are to provide me with instructions on how to proceed. In addition, I believe that you have some credits that you are to provide to me for services rendered. Is this sufficient, or do you wish further clarification? That will do for now. Gelru. Yes, we have suspected her for some time. I wish to advise you that you are under arrest for harboring the witch Seala, for illegal transport in violation of a star flight ban, legally established by the witch hunters of the Sector Control Division, and for illegal possession of forged ID cards. I am Selina, Immigration Control Officer Class 4. We intercepted the living furniture that was to contact you and take you to meet with a farmer by the name of Philippe. We were unable to make her talk, but there were only 5 ads for living furniture Class 1 placed in the suspected time frame. We simply responded to each hoping to find the correct one before you left. I will quite possibly receive a promotion for this. Thank you very much. She reached for the cloaking device and Torl acted quickly. He disarmed her and kicked her other hand away from the cloaking device, before she realized that he had moved. Then it really got nasty. She had underestimated him, but she was indeed a Class 4 officer. She responded quickly with a series of kicks and slashes that would have taken him apart had he been any less skilled. Torl dodged and kicked, she countered, and slashed, he countered, and chopped, she countered, and clipped him with a chop of her own. He dodged, then backed off to catch his balance. Woo. She was good, very good, and he was out of practice. Torl circled and dodged her attacks while he tried to come up with a plan of attack that she would not know. Selina, obviously well versed in the standard techniques, was also quite capable of decapitating him if he gave her half a chance. He knew from the throbbing in his left shoulder that she was strong and fast. This left him with only the option of using techniques that she did not know. The monks had taught him hundreds of techniques, but she showed signs of knowing many herself. He would have to gamble that he was fast enough to recover from any mistakes he made in the process of finding out what she did and did not know. He tried the crane technique, and she smoothly adapted with the scaline skills. He moved to the drum technique, and she countered with jujitsu. He switched to boxing techniques, and found that she was better than he at that, too. Several knots and bumps later, he came to the conclusion that this was not going very well. With the exception of the initial contact, she had bested him at every technique. Well, she had underestimated him once, maybe he could make her do it again. This was very risky, but he had to do something. He did not know how long they could remain cloaked without someone getting suspicious. Then it came to him. She had said harboring a witch. That could only mean that she did not know that he had talents, too. If he were careful, it just might work. Quickly, he generated a couple of power storms in areas he had visited in the sightseeing portion of the trip. Then, with those as cover, he gathered the Browns. Earth power now. He hit her with a mind blast, and then attacked with 2 quick chops. It worked. In a fraction of a minute, she was unconscious on the floor.